Welcome back to Baron's New Vegas Gun Guide, and this episode is the first time we are looking at an entirely original to Fallout weapon, and one that just so happens to be a staple of all mainline Fallout games, the 10mm pistol. The 10mm pistol has had a makeover every 2 games. Its original inception was not the blocky pistol seen in New Vegas and 3. It was in fact a Colt firearm, a fictional one still, but the Colt 6520 in 10mm. The Colt 6520 seen in Fallout 1 and 2 looked close to a real gun, the original 10mm pistol, the Bren 10, and the Colt Delta Elite. Now the 10mm round is one that has a very short history, being developed in 1983 with the Bren 10. Unfortunately, the Bren 10 was plagued with a lot of issues, from manufacturing to issues with, say, its magazine, its technical issues. Now, it wasn't until Colt decided that they wanted to make their own 10mm pistol was the round actually saved. The Colt Delta Elite was actually the thing that saved the 10mm. But it really wasn't to be, as the FBI started to use the 10mm pistol, both in the Bren 10 and the Colt Delta Elite, for training. They figured out that it's not what they wanted. It was too powerful and it was too big. And so they asked for the development of something a little bit smaller and less powder in it, and that became the 40 Smith & Wesson. So even though that the 10mm auto was a flop, it still continued in the form of a lot of other pistols to this day. However, we can assume that in Fallout, the 10mm auto is used more than 40 Smith & Wesson, simply because when the game was released, Fallout 1, the 10mm auto was more well known due to its existence in Miami Vice than the 40 Smith & Wesson, which had just started to be released about 7 years before. Now back to the Fallout 1 and 2 10mm, the most notable change for the Colt 6520 is a strange cushion grip under the barrel and what looks like a revolver cylinder in the back. The grip makes a little more sense when you know the development of history of the 10mm was that it wasn't used a lot for its high recoil. However, the revolver cylinder in the icon I can't really explain. It must be something of a mistake or something it was earlier in development it was meant to be, because 10mm revolvers do exist. However, in the game, since it has a capacity of 12, it's most likely a magazine-fed semi-auto. Now, the one that we know in Fallout 3 and New Vegas is something very different. It's actually the N99 service pistol, which, according to in-game lore, became the standard issue military firearm in 2051, as it phased out the N80 service pistol. Described as a pistol capable of surviving the harshest conditions and being restored easily and reliably, the N99 10mm pistol found its way in the Mojave through the vaults, being poured into ones like Vault 34, which is one of the places where you can find it the most. For all the power that the FBI touted it to have, in-game, it's not really the case. It is only slightly better than the 9mm at 22 damage per shot, which is still 4 points lower than the 357 Magnum. It fires slower than the 9mm as well, at 2.8 attacks per second, which gives it a DPS of 60.5, which is better than the 9mm pistol and the 357 Magnum. It keeps a lot of this damage when reloading is involved, with a 12-round magazine capacity and a 1.3 second reload. It keeps the damage up at a good 46.6 sustained DPS. AP cost is also the same as the 9mm pistol and the 22 pistol, at 17. Which gives a ratio of 1.3 damage per AP. It has a standard percentage crit rate multiplier of 1 times, which does double damage whenever it deals a crit. While not special in and of itself, the addition of a silencer mod makes a significant difference, which does turn it into quite a usable stealth weapon, especially when you consider that it's an improved holdout weapon, and that means that with a sneak of 50 you can sneak it into places you can't normally have a gun. That being said, the biggest downside of the 10mm pistol is the sights. The partridge sights on this gun is downright terrible, with the 4-notch completely obscuring the target you're shooting at, making this gun one of the few arguments against the true iron sights mode. Not only that, it does have a higher spread than the 9mm pistol or the 22 pistol at 0.8, which doesn't really make this gun great for hip firing. Another potential disadvantage this gun has, depending on where you are in the game, is the cost. It costs 750 caps, and it has 3 mods. The aforementioned silencer, which sadly doesn't increase your critical damage, but definitely allows you to stack sneak attacks, is 750 caps. The second mod is extended mags, which makes the capacity 16 versus 12, at the cost of another 750 caps. In my opinion, it's not a truly necessary one. The final mod is the best mod, in my opinion, the laser sight, which halves the spread to 0.4, making it great at hip firing now, and adds a little red laser effect for only 650 caps. Now, all of these mods, it should be noted, used to cost 250 caps prior to the patch 1.3.0.452, which made this gun a heck of a lot more affordable. But with the current price, it is hard to justify, especially when you learn that the 10mm pistol is actually incredibly fragile, which goes against its earlier claim to be a very reliable gun, or at least it can withstand harsh environments. It is only capable of firing 395 shots before breaking. And now to the economics of the ammo itself. The standard ammo starts off at 2 caps per round, with hollow point costing a blistering 5 caps per round, which gives the regular 75% more damage but 3 times enemy DT. But it also has a better hollow point, called the jacketed hollow point, which is a hand load special. It is valued at 3 caps per round, and increases damage by 65%, but only increases enemy damage threshold by ×2, which makes it, in my opinion, a better hollow point. Now, you may already be dismissing the 10mm pistol, and I don't blame you, but thanks to the courier stash, there's a unique that's better than the 10mm pistol, the weathered 10mm pistol, which is also quite possibly the Colt 6520 that the Vault Dweller had, given the fact that the other items that came in the classic pack included in the courier stash was an armored Vault 13 outfit and the Vault 13 canteen. Either way, it is better. It does 24 points of damage, which is 2 more, with all else held constant. It has a DPS of 66 and a sustained DPS of 50.9. The biggest bonus, however, is the item can be modded. Now, a unique weapon that can be modded is very rare in Fallout New Vegas. Only 2 other weapons that are uniques can be modded. In addition to the fact that it does have mods, it does have a higher durability at 545 shots. Now, there are several locations in the game where you can find yourself a standard 10mm pistol. Camp Guardian Caves, the Crimson Caravan Company location, the Durable Duns Caravan Sack location, which has one next to a corpse, the cliff above Goodspring Source has one, a house in Novak, one of the generic ones, has one, the Nipton Town Hall Safe has one, Vault 3, 11, and 34 all have multiple examples, the NCR Military Police Headquarters in New Vegas has one, and some have to be stolen from those locations, but I guess most people don't mind. The Nevada Highway Patrol has 2 gang members that will always have one, and the usual gang members in general will always carry them, as well as the NCR Military Polices and the Kings. And also, since it is so common, almost all gun merchants carry them, including our favorite, the Gunrunners. Now, that being said, altogether, the 10mm pistol is a classic that has to be in the game. It has been in all numbered Fallout games, all mainline series Fallout games, since the beginning. However, it really in New Vegas should be given kind of a pass. It is a gun that is very fragile. It does only a little bit more damage than some of the other options at the time. It is enormously expensive in the early game, despite the fact that that's really the only time that it's good. Really, if you want a 10mm pistol, stick with the weathered one you get, upgrade it if you find the mods, or if you have the time, the spare caps, or just need something that's a little bit more powerful for a silenced weapon. Otherwise, I would dodge the 10mm pistol as much as possible, and usually only use it to repair something better, like when you get jury-rigging it, using it to repair much more powerful and bigger guns. With that, I bid you adieu.